Welcome to episode 6. We're going to veer off backtesting for an episode and talk about annualized yield for option sellers. Annualized yield is the most important stat for option sellers. It measures your performance. It tells you when you should consider closing early, and it's the best stat for comparing backtests. It takes into account the 3 most important things: your profit loss, the time required, and the collateral required. But it gets very little love and attention from the option selling content I've seen on YouTube, which is surprising considering how important I think it is. You probably don't want to keep a position open once you've realized most of the gain, and annualized yield is the best measure of that. I'm going to share with you how I use it in the context of selling options, and in future episodes I'll be using it extensively to compare backtests. If you already have a good understanding of annualized yield, this will be mostly a review, but hopefully you'll find something of value. If you're just getting started, this will be good stuff for you. So let's lay out what it is. Annualized yield, it's your annual rate of return. For comparison, you can get about 4% on no-risk U.S. Treasuries these days. From the perspective of the option seller, you need to know 3 things to compute your annualized yield: how much you made or lost, how much time you used to do it, and how much collateral you needed, or how much your broker required you to reserve to sell the option. Let's think about each of these in a little more depth. Your profit loss is the premium you collected minus the value of the option when you closed early or at expiration. And that would be the same amount as if you got assigned. The time is the number of days from when you sold the option to when you closed or when it expired. The collateral, you got to have money to make money. Collateral for puts is the amount you need in case it gets put onto you. The strike price times 100 for one contract. The collateral for calls fluctuates through the lifetime of a contract. It's the value of 100 shares of the underlying stock. This changing value is what you should use when using as a closeout criteria. For backtesting, I'm choosing to use the value at the start when you sell the option, or the amount you need to put up. But valid arguments could be made for using the average amount or the end amount, so it's a little bit subjective. Here's how to calculate annualized yield. Nothing fancy, no compounding, the time's always in days. The formula is your profit loss divided by your collateral times 365 divided by the number of days your contract was open. So, we'll illustrate this with a simple example. You sold one put option on the imaginary XYZ stock. The strike was 50, so the collateral required was 50 times 100 or $5,000. The time to expiration at start was 30 days, and you held it through expiration. You received a $100 premium to do this. The option expired worthless, and your profit loss was $100, the premium you collected. So your annualized yield would be 100, the amount of your profit, divided by 5,000, that's the amount of collateral you had to put up. That times 365, the number of days in a year, divided by 30, the length of the contract. So that equals 0.02 times 12.167. The 0.02 is 2%, or that is the yield without considering time. The 12.167 is how many times you need to multiply 30 days by to normalize it to a full year. and the final number you end up with is 0.243. So rounding, you made about 24.3% in annualized yield in this example. I wanted to briefly go over how I use annualized yield to help me decide when to close out positions. So here's a little piece of the spreadsheet I use. I update this daily, and for every position I have a record like this. You see these colors here. The orange is I just enter it once when I open a position, and then the yellow is these change daily. I have to manually change these daily, and then all the gray fields are auto-computed by the spreadsheet. So this first column, I just specify the symbol, my cost basis. So like this position, this recent position for Pfizer, I put my strike at 45 and I received about 82 or 83 cents premium. So that took my cost basis down to 44.18. And then these two numbers, this is when I open the position and when it expires. Number of contracts. This was the original price of the underlying when I opened the position, and this is its current price. I update that every day. Then the spreadsheet computes these for me automatically. Days gone by and days remaining. This is the initial premium, and this is how much I've realized so far, and this is how much I could potentially still realize if it expires worthless. Here's the collateral, which is computed right when you enter the starting information. And then these numbers are annualized, are yield numbers. Like this is the yield without considering time. This is the percentage of the year that has gone by, and then here's the ones that matter. So when I opened it, I was getting 19% yield on this position. I've done really well in the first 2 days, making 109%. That's obviously not going to last. And then here's the yield I could make on the remainder of the time of the contract. So if this number gets too low, like once it say drops below 5, I'll start looking at it and considering whether or not I want to close it and move on to another higher yielding position. So that's a good intro to annualized yield. Thanks for watching to the end. Please hit the like and subscribe if you found this content valuable. I'll try to get out about 2 episodes a week going forward. And next episode will probably be about comparing results of some super interesting backtests.